Hello, journalism parents, and thank you for joining me for virtual curriculum night. Um, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with me just to talk about the journalism class at Seabury. Now, I've got a number of returning students, which is also always wonderful as a journalism teacher to know that there's some experience in the class. And I've also got about half of the class being new students, which is equally as excellent because it means we're going to get fresh ideas, fresh eyes, fresh everything with those new students as well. And so this is a particularly great setup. I've got a lot of tenured staff members and a lot of new staff members with great ideas. And so I'm really excited to teach journalism this year. Real simply, there are four purposes in the journalism class. Number one, we learn the basics of journalism. We learn how to interview people. We'll learn how to take good, well-composed photographs, how to design a spread for the newspaper or the yearbook, things like that, depending on the department that your student is in. Number two, we will produce issues of the newspaper, of the school newspaper, probably about 10 to 12. Three, we will produce the yearbook, of course. And four, we will maintain a positive journalism department social media presence in the school and also an online newspaper and online website for the journalism department. So that's a lot to cover in a year. But what I really like, especially with goals 2 and 3, is that the students will have something tangible to keep at the end of this class, which sometimes doesn't happen in school, right? Sometimes it's just, kind of what goes into your brain, which is just as great. But it's so nice to be able to hold a yearbook or hold an issue of the newspaper and to know I contributed to that. And so that's one of the things I think is really great about journalism. So this class works very different from a core class. For those of you who know me more as the English 9, English 12 teacher, who tries to run a pretty tight ship in my English classes. The same will be true in journalism, but it's just very different. I would not call myself the teacher of journalism necessarily. I think the better word is the advisor. The faculty advisor. And that's all I do. I advise, I give advice, but it's the students who run this class, from the rookies all the way up to the editors. And what's really nice about the editors this year, all of my editors are returning from last year. So there's going to be no learning curve in terms of my department editors or my overall head editors for newspaper or yearbook. And that's actually nice. It's going to mean we can get down to business quicker. So in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing some very exciting things, most of which can be done in class. You won't see a lot of homework necessarily, but we're going to put out the first issue of the newspaper. We're going to choose a theme for the yearbook, always a fun decision. And we're going to do all the setup, choosing the main colors that are going to go into the yearbook, the font, what kind of columns we're going to have in the newspaper, all really exciting, fresh decisions at the start of the year. Now, of course, let me bring up that COVID did present us with challenges last spring, and very likely will continue to present challenges to us, but nothing that I think we can't get around. It might mean, for instance, that instead of attending an event and getting photographs, we solicit photographs from the student body or from their parents or something like that. And so just maybe some minor tweaks and changes to the class, but believe you me, we will still be covering the events of the school one way or the other. And so I'm not too concerned about the students not being able to create good newspaper issues and a good yearbook with COVID-19. I'm sure that they still will. To perform well in this class, it's real simple. Your students need to accomplish their assigned tasks on time. To try to be a leader in class. Again, even those rookies, even those people who are getting their feet wet with journalism, just to try to be a leader, try to speak up, try to communicate. And let me come back to that word, to communicate. Even if there's some situation where a student can't get an article done or anything like that, it's all about communicating with the editors. It's all about communicating with each other, helping each other out, and really being a team. And as long as that happens, you don't have to worry about journalism much at all. Just have your student really enjoy it and have fun and get something out of it. Now, I said that generally there is no homework in journalism, although that may change around newspaper deadlines or especially around May when we're trying to get the yearbook out. Then you might see a yearbook program open occasionally, but I try not to let the homework intrude too much on the homework for the core classes, okay? And then last but not least, if you need to reach out to me for any reason about journalism, feel free to do so. And I would say that email is probably the best way to do so. Just fire one off to me. If it's after 9 p.m., I may not get to it that day, but I will the next day. And otherwise, I try to check throughout the day. And I think that's all I have for journalism. I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Again, I'm thrilled with this class. It's a big class. We're up to 35. Which means that management might be sometimes an issue for me, but that's great. It means we're going to have a lot of energy. It means we're going to have a ton of ideas, and I'd much rather be that way than to have too few students in journalism. So I'm thrilled, and I'm looking forward to an excellent year. Again, feel free to reach out to me with any questions, and thanks for listening. I'll hopefully see you soon.